I remember talking with a friend of mine who would tell me how they like mowing their own lawn. And I said, well, I thought you like going on the boat. And they go, well, I like going on the boat too, but I like mowing the lawn. I said, what would you rather do, go on the boat or mow your own lawn? And he said, well, I'd rather go on the boat. I said, then why don't you find a way to have somebody else mow your lawn so you can make more money and go on the boat? He had a photography business. He goes, if I had a photography business on the side, I'd have to spend the weekends then taking photographs. I said, no, you don't. You find someone who's going to get married, sell photography services, and then go hire someone, another photographer, to fulfill the services, and then you take a cut, add $1,000 onto that. And it like hit him in like a ton of bricks. He's like, I'd never thought of that. And it's exactly what you do. You teach people how the client who has a problem to fix, which is I want to clean my house, I don't have time, I have kids. And then you find someone who's cleaning houses and you just marry the two together. I think that is entrepreneurship in a nutshell. How can you solve people's problems by having other people execute and fulfill?
So I know there's a lot of people who talk about risk and like, oh, if I want to start this business, it's very risky. I don't know where that came from, but I've never bought it. Started my first cleaning business when I was 19, and I also had a W-2 as a lifeguard during the day, and then I worked at the ice cream shop at night, and I was going to college. So every time I was off, I would go door to door to get window cleaning clients. In a few months, I stacked up a route where we had, a bunch of clients paying us $20 every time we went. And then once that got big enough, I wasn't making much money, making minimum wage. So it was really easy to be like, okay, this makes sense. If I spend more time on this, I'll make more money. So let's just quit and go all in. And so after a few months.
I love it. So a lot of people they get scared about starting something because they feel like they have to stop what they're doing in order to start something. Welcome everybody to another episode of Cash Flow Conversations. I'm excited about today. Today we have another entrepreneur who is helping others become entrepreneurs. With me is Johnny Robinson from Home Service Academy. Johnny, good to have you here today.
Matt, dude, thanks so much for having me, man. Really excited to be here.
Yeah, dude. So this is for everybody who, like me, probably gets a lot of cold messages in different social media platforms. I met Johnny through a cold message. Now, I get half a dozen a day, and most of them really aren't the greatest value add. And when I read Johnny's message, I was like, okay, there might be something to this. And we ended up having a call. And I was kind of blown away by what he's teaching his clients. Basically, it's a perfect subject for this podcast. So Cash Flow Conversations is all about how do entrepreneurs take that leap and go from W-2 to 1099? How to create a side gig, extra revenue, so that eventually you can quit your W-2 and own your own business. So not only I'm very passionate about helping people believe in themselves and have the confidence to go do this, even though the world is telling us don't take risk. I would argue that there's very little risk in investing in yourself. There's more risk in putting your success in the hands of somebody else. And then there's tactically, how do you set yourself up to generate income on the side? And Johnny does exactly that. He teaches people how to start their own business while they're working as a W-2. And I don't want to take your thunder, Johnny, but the way that I look at this is you help people basically start a business that cleans houses without cleaning houses, right?
Yeah. So basically, yeah. So you start a house cleaning business, except you don't do any of the actual cleaning yourself. You're still going to be cleaning houses. Your business will be. You're just not physically doing it yourself, because if you're somebody sitting here who's got a 9 to 5, it's going to be very challenging for you to balance your 9 to 5 on top of going out and cleaning houses. You don't want to go do it at night. You don't want to wake up extra early in the morning, I'm sure. And so what we do is teach people how to start. The legal term for the business is a referral agency. And so it's basically just a house cleaning business where you hire 1099 contractors instead of W-2 employees. The reason for that is you save a lot of time and you save a lot of money. One, training people, because if you hire W-2s, you got to train them. You got to buy their equipment. You got to pay for their gas. Sometimes you got to buy their vehicles.
Pay for
Whereas
taxes.
with payroll taxes,
Payroll.
workers' comp, with 1099s, you save all the money having to come out of pocket for things like that, and they come trained, so you don't need to go in and train a bunch of people on how to clean a house, and they have their own equipment. So that your job is, how do I get the business, and then connect the two, right? Connect the jobs with the contractors. Very simple business.
I absolutely love it, man. I think there's such a need in the world for this. And I think there's also a desire in the world that people want to stop punching a time clock and have something that they can control. Quick story. I remember talking with a friend of mine who would tell me how they like mowing their own lawn. And I said, well, I thought you like going on the boat. And they go, well, I like going on the boat too, but I like mowing the lawn. I said, well, what would you rather do? Go on the boat or mow your own lawn? And the guy has like 3 acres. And he said, well, I'd rather go on the boat. I said, then why don't you find why don't you find a way to have somebody else mow your lawn so you can make more money and go on the boat? And he goes, well, I don't want to use my time. He goes, because he had a photography business. He goes, if I had a photography business on the side, I'd have to spend the weekends then taking photographs. I said, no, you don't. You find someone who's going to get married, sell photography services, and then go hire another photographer to fulfill the services, and then you take a cut, add $1,000 onto that. And it like hit him in like a ton of bricks. He's like, I had never thought of that. And it's exactly what you do. You teach people how the client who has a problem to fix, which is I want to clean my house, I don't have time, I have kids. And then you find someone who's cleaning houses and you just marry the two together. I think that is entrepreneurship in a nutshell. How can you solve people's problems by having other people execute and fulfill?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And it'll work in pretty much any service business. I mean, your wedding photography example makes perfect sense, right? I know our videographer, the second one we ever hired, actually did that same exact thing. So yeah, it can work in any kind of niche industry vertical and service, both online, offline. I like cleaning because it has a recurring component to it. You clean a house one time, well, it's gonna get dirty again. So they're going to call you back for every month or every 2 weeks or some as frequent as even weekly. We've had a client do it daily. So it just that's it's kind of my favorite. But yeah, I mean, to your point, it's a very simple business. You don't need a ton of cash to come out of pocket to start. It's not very risky. So I know there's a lot of people who talk about risk and like, oh, if I want to start this business, it's very risky. I don't know where that came from. But I've never bought it. I've never bought it. I'm about to turn 27. I'm started my first cleaning business when I was 19. And I also had a W-2 as a lifeguard during the day. And then I worked at the ice cream shop at night and I was going to college. So.
And you started the business?
Yeah. Yeah. And so every time I was off, I would go door to door. And so every free moment I had, I would go door to door to get window cleaning clients. And in a few months, I stacked up a route where we had, a bunch of clients paying us $20K every time, or not $20K, $20 every time we went, or $40, little mom and pop shops. And then once that got big enough, I mean, I wasn't making much money, making minimum wage. So it was really easy to be like, okay, this makes sense. If I spend more time on this, I'll make more money. So let's just quit and go all in. And so after a few months,
I love it. So a lot of people they get scared about starting something because they feel like they have to stop what they're doing in order to start something.
Right. Yeah. And you know what's funny is I thought when I started Home Service Academy, we started teaching people how to do house cleaning businesses and grow house cleaning businesses. I thought everyone was going to want to quit their job. Some of our biggest clients and our biggest students, some doing 60K a month, 70K a month, 100K a month, still have their 9 to 5s.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They just love it.
What I realized was it's the people that succeed that are really that are good at their jobs and they enjoy their jobs. Funny enough, and don't get me wrong, I've had a handful of people quit their job, but it's interesting when I'm like, dude, you're at like 70K a month, 80K a month, 100K, whatever, and they're like, yeah, it's just like my backup plan. And I'm gonna retire in like 3 years. I'm getting my I have to stay for 3 more years to get my full retirement, and I don't want to mess it up, so I'm just gonna stay for 3 more years, and then I have this. It's like, okay, cool, good for you, man.
It's beautiful. It's such a better way to take control over your world. Most people in the country, and thank God this is true because it allows for businesses to grow, but most people are W-2 employees, and they don't know how to take control over their own finances. And so they're even from a financial perspective, they're letting someone else manage their retirement by investing in other people's businesses and letting someone else manage those accounts, charging fees with no real exit strategy. And the challenge is when you get to 65 and you finally look up and you go, I don't have enough money. I don't know how I'm going to turn this savings into income. So what you teach and learning how to create income and cash flow by providing services, I think is unparalleled. So let's go back into your beginning. So you're 18 years old. You're a lifeguard showing off at the pool every day. Wasn't fulfilling. You didn't see yourself doing that for 30 years. You didn't want to be like on Bondi Beach down in Australia being a lifeguard, or what?
No, dude. But it was a lot of fun. I will say it was a lot of fun. It was my first job coming out of college. There's a lot of young people that were working with me. So it was a good first job. No one really took it too serious because
you don't find a lot of unattractive lifeguards either. So it's probably good scenery the whole time.
Yeah, it was great scenery. So it was really fun first summer, and you know what? I was a terrible employee, and they didn't want me back, or else I would have went back.
They asked you not to come back for real?
They asked me not to come back. Yeah, I was
What
butthurt
kind of grades
about
did
it.
you get in high school?
Terrible. I had a 1.7 GPA coming out of high
Oh, that's
school.
horrible, dude.
Yeah, I had to go to community college, and then I ended up going from community college. I was all motivated because like I'm smarter than this, you know. So I got a 4.0 my first semester in community college, and I proved it to myself. And then I kind of just coasted through college, and then went to Cal State Fullerton here or not here because I'm in Vegas, but in Orange County, California, and then graduated from Cal State Fullerton, which with
Dude,
a bachelor's in business.
that's funny. They say A students work for C students and B students work for the government.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that.
Uh,
All the smarty pants are definitely they've definitely I know a few that are working for the government now.
yeah, well, see, and the challenge with the education system in America, in my opinion, is that it teaches you how to be an employee, teaches you how to memorize things and do what you're told. And Rockefeller was quoted as saying he didn't want a nation of thinkers, he wanted a nation of doers, and that's why he was really instrumental in starting the education system in the United States.
Oh, I
So
have
to
a
your
great memory, man. That's a great point because I memorized my way through both high school and college.
That's all you're taught to do is memorize stuff, not how to implement it or ask the right questions.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Hundred
society
percent.
existed a long time before education. Now, education helps progress society, but it's the risk take what it's considered the risk takers that move it forward. And to your point earlier, and what I was saying, I don't think um, it's risky to invest in yourself. It's riskier to trust someone else. They're going to take care of you.
I think was it you that told me this because it's never left my mind. It might have been you that told me this, but
Probably if it was really mind blowing, it was probably from me.
the person that told me this, I'm like 50% sure it was you. I'm not sure, but they said like on this topic of is going the 1099 route, starting a business, is it risky, and or is having a W-2 riskier? To your point of it being riskier having a W-2, all it takes is one meeting, just one meeting. Someone has to say, "I don't like that guy. You miss your KPIs a little bit this week. You might love your job. You might think it's so stable." All it takes is one of your superiors behind closed doors saying that person has to go. And just like that, you could be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. You'd be gone.
Dude, that wasn't me, but that's really very true. Think about how many people said no in your window washing business.
Yeah, a lot. More than
Probably as many as said yes.
more. Because, we're starting out, we couldn't sell for crap.
So this is it. It would be it's so easy to lose your job. Jim Carrey talked about that. He said he watched his father in Canada, who was a really funny person, not pursue his dreams because he wanted to be safe and take care of his family. So he was an accountant, and in his 50s, his boss decided they didn't need his position anymore. 54 years old, he lost his job. So here's a guy that failed and didn't even pursue his dreams. If I'm going to fail, this is Jim Carrey. He said, if I'm going to fail pursuing my dreams. Because you don't
Love that.
regret that, dude. Regret
Mhm.
at the end of life, regret doesn't come from messing up or making a mistake. Regret comes from not taking action.
Yeah, agreed.
So you get fired from your lifeguard position, politely asked not to leave. And then what did you start doing?
So then I picked up a job at the ice cream shop at Rita's Italian Ice. So if you ever had
Shout out
if
to
you,
Rita's.
if you ever had Rita's Italian Ice, nothing but good things to say about Rita's. It was a cool job, and I would work there at nights. And so picked up that job. I was making $12 an hour plus tip, and
What's
I
the
could
tip
use.
game like in the ice cream business?
It's not great, man. It's not great. Pretty terrible.
Thanks for the
Uh,
mint chocolate chip. Here's 50 cents.
it was a good day if I made if I made like $10. If I made $10 in tips, I was pretty stoked. I was like, okay, I got lunch the next day, So
Nice. Hey,
I
that's why
would
they
I would
call it
work
making
there
a
at
living,
night.
dude. You're making enough to live.
Yeah, 100%. And I remember I took over the car payments for my mom, and she gave me a car, but I had to pay the car payments, and it was a 2008 Toyota Rav4,
Beautiful
and the
vehicle.
payment's like $460. Yeah, great vehicle, but $460 a month, and I was working this lifeguard job. Keep in mind, I'm working part time now, after going from full time at the lifeguard shop because I wanted to go all in on this window cleaning business. So I go part time in the ice cream shop. I'm working like 15, 20 hours a week at like 10 bucks an hour, 12 bucks an hour, something like that. So you can do the math. I don't know how much I was making, not that much. And so I
And
have to
barely
make this
enough to
car
pay for the
payment.
car.
Yeah, and I'm like, Mom, like I just go to work to pay for this car. And she's like, yeah, welcome to the real world. And I'm like, damn. All right, I got to find out how to make some more money. So uh, I go with my best friend Sergio. I've known him since the 7th grade, and I'm still business partners with him to this day. And we start hanging out, and we're like, dude, like, what are we gonna do after college? And I was like, I don't know, but this work in a job crap is not gonna cut it for me, bro. I got to start a business, and I want to start a business. Do you want to be my business partner? And he goes, no, dude, I want to focus on civil engineering and get my
Oh,
degree.
wow.
And I was like, okay, well, whatever. I'm going to start like looking at business ideas and see what I can start. Because I thought you needed a business degree to start a business.
Mm.
That's how little I knew. I
That's how
thought you
little
needed.
society teaches kids how easy it is to be your own boss.
Mhm.
It's not a conversation day to day.
It's not. It's not. And I didn't have any entrepreneurs in my family growing up or anyone to kind of um, look after, and follow in their footsteps. So I was like, I found this information, and that's all I really needed to go out and start a business. And so Sergio didn't want to do it until he called me a week later. He's like, hey, dude, I've been listening to Gary Vee, and that business thing, I want to do it because I just interviewed at McDonald's, I interviewed at Arby's, I interviewed here, and they wouldn't hire me. I need to make some
Oh,
money. So, and Sergio's a whole hell of a lot smarter than I am. This guy had like a 5.0 civil engineering, and so I was surprised, but whatever. Worked out for me because we were like, all right, what are we going to start? How do we make money tomorrow? And it was between landscaping. Well, we were going to do landscaping. Sergio was like, why don't we clean windows? And so I'm like, you want to clean windows? Like, you want to go stand at the gas station and ask people, stand at the gas station and clean people's car windows? He's like, yeah, man, we can make some money doing that. I'm like, dude, what are we, homeless, man? Come on. We're not doing that. And I look up window cleaning, and I find out it's an actual industry. And so we end up saying, hey, this will work. Houses pay for it, storefronts pay for it. There's commercial properties that need everybody needs it. So let's go ahead and start it. So we spent $150 and we started a window cleaning business. And over the next 5 years, we grew that business to be the biggest window cleaning business in Orange County.
how many employees?
So if you look, well, at the peak, we had about 9 technicians plus an admin person, so about 10, and
Wow.
some VA and a VA. But then we switched to contractors. So, but if you look up window cleaning in Orange County, California, or window cleaners near me, anywhere in Orange County, Orange Window Cleaning should show up #1 on the first page of Google, and it should show up on the first page of the Google Business Profile Map Pack. So I'm not sure if you're doing that right now.
I'm not.
Oh, but yeah, I saw you clicking on something. But
Oh,
we did that, and then we sold it, and we started a business for my mom. My mom was an Uber driver, so my mom raised me on her own. She was a single mom, and she was working like 50, 60 hours a week driving Uber, sometimes more. And I said, you know what, let me take my skill set of what I did with the window cleaning business, and let me translate it to house cleaning. And
how
we
did
opened
you
up
think of house cleaning? It just popped into your head like people need this?
because people were asking me on Twitter because I was making content about how we were running the window cleaning business. And I was like, okay, well, I can help you do this, but I'm not sure that this contractor route will work for you. It's a lot harder to start a window cleaning business. You need a lot more specialized equipment. The amount of quality contractors is lower, whereas in cleaning, the amount of quality contractors is very abundant. At least that was my guess, because anybody can go pick up some cleaning supplies from Home Depot.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And so I wanted to do 2 things. I wanted to retire my mom from Uber, and I wanted to become the authority in house cleaning, not window cleaning. And so what I did was I opened a new Amex Gold. Me and Sergio, we launched a business called Mary and a Mop. My mom's name is Mary, and that's another business also in Orange County. We now have a Vegas location, but we launched that business with a brand new Amex Gold card, $2,000 of ad spend, and that was it.
Dude.
And so we just put $2,000 of ad spend right onto the credit card, and it was hopes and dreams, man. And we
So
generated
what you did? You ran.
$12,000.
So you ran ads directly to the consumer who wanted to have their house cleaned.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, and then when you would get a prospect saying, "Hey, I have a 3,000 square foot home. What do you guys charge?" How'd you come up with pricing, and did you have any contractors in your back pocket yet?
Oh yeah, so we did all the hiring for my mom. So we had contractors, and then as far as pricing, we just called 10 people in our area, found what the highest prices were, and then we charged that.
Well, let's say that again. So you had contractors lined up. How did you find the contractors?
Yeah, we use Indeed
Yep.
and the third, fourth, fifth page of Google,
Why the third and fourth page?
because those are the people that don't really have the reputation. They don't really market. They're going to be cleaning companies that have been around maybe for a little bit, but don't really know how to win in the online game. And so a lot of you'll find a lot of those people that just want to show up and do the cleaning. They don't really care about the marketing and sales component.
Interesting. You're dropping some bombs here. So you got some people lined up that would be willing to work. Then you run ads on finding people that want the service of those people that don't know how to do the marketing.
Wait, say that last part again. Run
Sorry, I
ads.
messed that up. You ran ads to find people that want the service, and you give it to the people that don't know how to do the marketing side.
Yes,
And then you
exactly.
just
And
take a
so we
cut.
put yeah. And so you pay the contractors 40 to 45%. So you're keeping anywhere between 55 to 60% of your gross revenue. And before anyone's like, oh, you're taking advantage of cleaners. Cleaners, the average cleaner in the US makes $16 an hour as a W-2 employee. With the referral agency as an independent contractor, they make $25 to $35 an hour. So I don't
You've
want to hear
doubled it.
no, yeah. So I don't hear no, oh, you're taking advantage of cleaners. I've heard that way too many times doing this for almost 8 years now. The cleaners, our cleaners, especially the ones that married them up, the ones at Home Service Academy clients, are crushing it. And so 45%, you fix your gross margins. You're always keeping 55 to 60% of your gross revenue because you still got to pay for your ads and your fixed costs. And
Yep.
eventually, when you hire staff to answer the phone calls for you and things like that, those are all going to eat into your profit. So you want to keep the gross margins high. And so fixing it at that range, we find to work really, really well. And so,
Really quick though, you kind of glazed over it. You're going to get haters in this, and I kind of wanted to talk to you about that when you started this. Did you get any pushback? But what a dumb mentality. You know who says that kind of dumb shit about you're taking advantage of cleaners? It's the same people that say because Elon Musk is worth $1 billion, they're broke. It's the same dumb person on Twitter that says I'm failing because someone else is succeeding.
yeah, I agree. I agree. We've dealt with that for a while. Well, oh, you're taking advantage. And it's like, well, what do you mean?
You're
People
giving them an
hire cleaners as
opportunity they otherwise
W-2.
wouldn't have had.
Yeah, people is the W-2 house cleaning business that's paying your cleaner that's cleaning your house $15 an hour. Is that not taking advantage of them? Should they not get paid more?
Exactly. Good for you, man. Okay, so you get the contractors lined up, and you spend $2,000. How much did you make? Do you think on the first $2,000 that you spent?
12,000 in revenue with 4,000 of profit.
On $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't
Yep.
it fun
And
talking about
then
money?
here's some sauce for you. Here's
How
some
much
sauce
did you
for
make in
you.
tips as slanging ice cream?
Like $10 a day on a
And you
good day.
spent
On a good
$2,000 to
day.
make $4,000 after you helped people solve problems?
Yeah, well, we spent $2,000, and again, it was on a credit card, so we didn't have. Well, we had the $2,000, but it's bet why we do it on the credit card was because you do it on the credit card, you have 30 days to close clients that credit card's going to generate you. So that $2,000, I don't have to pay it for 30 days, but it's going to drive me $2,000 worth of customers. So if I can just close half of them, well, I'm getting my customers to pay my credit card off.
Yeah.
And so customers pay me, I pay the credit card off, and I still have some profit left over. And
This is
now
business 101, man.
I never have to come out of pocket for things like ad spend. And I get these sweet credit card points. I get the bonus points because it's brand new Amex, and you get 4x the points on ad spend. So it worked out
I
well.
just found that gold card too. I just bought it 2 months ago for ads.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a great little card.
Amex Plat for dinner and gold for ad spend.
What's for dinner?
Amex Plat.
Plat. Got it.
The platinum.
No, I got to look into that one. All right, cool, dude. So you start running ads at $2,000. You make $4,000 that month. Did you keep the ad spend the same for the next month? Did you keep it at 2? Did you try to grow?
Yeah, we kept it at 2 when we did 20 grand the second month with $8,000 of profit. And that month we launched. The day I told my mom that the day I turned the ad spend on for my mom and said we're launching the cleaning business was the last day she ever drove Uber. So 12 grand first month, 20 grand second month, 4 grand profit first month, 8 grand the second month. That business now does anywhere between $35,000 to $40,000 a month at about a 50% uh, net profit margin. And
You're making six figures.
yeah, my mom's made more money in her 60s than she's had running this business than she has in her entire life.
Unbelievable, Johnny. You got to be so proud.
Yeah, 100%, man. I take a lot of pride in that story. It's my favorite story to come on and tell for sure.
You know, no one tells you how to do this. You got to figure it out. And there's nothing more rewarding than going through some struggles and figuring this stuff out and watching other people get fulfilled by your efforts. You can look at the contractors that you've paid that now don't even have to market themselves and just they wake up and they have jobs on their calendar. You have clients that are happy because they're getting their house cleaned, something that they don't have time or desire to do. So they're happy. And now you teach business owners, in this case, your mom, how to generate revenue that she can help influence more than she's ever made in her life.
Yeah.
And now you can teach her how to create a 1099 instead of a W-2. And hello, world of deductions. Totally different than what a W-2 income looks like.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we just had our first live event last weekend. So we're recording this on the 21st. Our live event was 15th, 16th of November. And just being able to see everyone we've coached over the years come in. And we've got a guy who's like, I just quit my job. He's doing 100K a month, 20 months into starting his remote cleaning business, 100K a month, just quit his job, and he hired a personal chef. That was pretty cool to share.
That is awesome.
Okay, all right, big baller. I don't even have a personal chef.
Yeah, man, I'm slinging cooking chicken for the girls in my house. I need a personal chef. That's a great idea.
Yeah, 100%.
But what you learn is the value of your time, because you can make more doing something. This is what I was telling my friend with the Mona's lawn. You don't like mowing your lawn. You're doing it because you don't know what else to do, and you say you like it because it's relaxing. You're not getting yelled at by your wife. The kids aren't bugging you. You don't like mowing the lawn. You just like to get away for a second and not do anything. If you could make more money, I bet you'd like going on the boat better, or hiring a private chef.
Yeah, and then hiring someone to mow the lawn, man. Come on, it's like $20 a week or
dude.
something.
Of course, I bought a lawnmower years ago, and I used it for about a month. And I told my wife, I said, I hate doing this. It's such a waste of my time. We got a lawn crew, and I sold my snowblower, I sold the lawnmower, all my garden tools. We had to rake leaves last weekend, and I'm like, I don't even own a rake. I had to go buy a rake just to rake up some leaves.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, it's wonderful. What you're doing, if you think about life,
the beauty of entrepreneurship, man, is you don't when you don't want to do something, you don't have to do it. That's why I started a business. I don't like doing things that I don't want to do.
Yeah. In my book, The Entrepreneur's Asset, which you can buy at theentrepreneursasset.com, talks about different ways to start as an entrepreneur, and the easiest way, I think, is sales. I can sell a service or a product. Well, if I start a business selling a product, I got to fulfill the product. How do I make the product? Do I get it from China? Am I in the wood shop? Like, I have time involved. If I start a business where I have service, now I have employees and there's a lot of overhead. I like the idea of selling someone else's product where I get a piece of the transaction to get started. Or what you're doing is selling someone else to provide this, to fulfill the service. So you're just facilitating the transaction, taking a cut, and everybody wins. And then you can scale that because it doesn't take a lot of your time. So you can grow that into multiple different verticals. As one business owner, you can have multiple businesses and not even have many employees.
Right. 100%. Yeah. And if anybody's listening to this questioning, like, oh, well, that's like a good side gig, I could never build that into a big business. I mean, look at Amazon, look at Uber. What do? You think they have all of their delivery drivers W-2'd out there managing all of those people? Hell no. And
well, make that a point. They don't. They do those. That's all a franchise. People own their own businesses to deliver those services for Amazon. Amazon wins, and so does the franchise owner.
Right. There's also somebody who came to us. He runs a company called Home Alliance. They do a little over $20 million a year, and all they do is 1099, 5 different services. The 6th is cleaning. We're helping him build out the cleaning arm. So it's appliance repair, electric, HVAC, handyman, and there's one more I'm forgetting. But he's got 5 different ones. 20 million a year, all 1099s, and all he does is cross sell the different services. So once he gets one customer for appliance repair, he can get them for HVAC or electric. Or
so if his margins are like yours, he's gross profits around 10 million, and now you have $10 million to pay for ads. And I mean, I can't imagine him having huge staff overheads, $1 million a
Well,
year. I mean,
margins go down with scale, right? Margins will go down with scale. So I'd imagine he's probably around 20%. I don't know what his margins are. I'd have to ask him. He
what about
told
net
me, I just
profit, do
don't
you think?
remember. Yeah, I want to say around probably 20% net,
So if it's 20% net profit, that's around 4 million.
4 million. Yeah, cash flow. But you got to think when you're building a business, if somebody's watching this hasn't built a business, the bigger you build a business, the lower your time involvement starts to become.
Yeah.
Because you build a team to do the stuff that you're either not good at or you don't want to do. And ideally, the bigger you scale your business, the more and more time you spend just thinking and making decisions.
Well, let's give a shout out here really quick. There's two things I want to point out. Number one, you don't need to know the end game to get started. You just want to know what you realized when you were slanging ice cream. I don't want to do this the rest of my life. So the first step of an entrepreneur is to go, I see the path. I don't want to take the path. I want to go over here. That's the first step, is deciding I'm going to go, not come up with all the reasons that I can't do it or why it's going to be hard. Get that out of your mind. That's the direction I want to go in. Then it's tactically, what are some steps that I can take to learn about how to get involved? And that's where your business comes in now. So Home Service Academy, essentially you're teaching people how to do exactly what you've done.
100%. Yeah, we've done it for 8 years now. I've started over 2,000 cleaning businesses by this point, and we run the largest house cleaning consulting company, I guess you can say, in the world now, because we take established house cleaning businesses, but really and we'll grow them, but really our bread and butter is helping people start from scratch and overcoming the mindset stuff at the beginning and then putting in the systems and really getting you up to revenue and achieving your goals, whatever that is, whether that's a lifestyle cash flowing business on the side that's doing $20,000-$30,000 a month, or it's a multi-unit or multi-location, 100K a month and above business that you want to go and really
So talk to
build.
me how, if someone wants to get involved with you, what does your program look like? Is it group meetings, solo journey? Do you have coaching that people can
It's
access? How
all
does that?
one-on-one. Yeah, it's all one-on-one. So we don't do any like, oh, here's like a course and good luck, because we track our student success rates and we have a big team of W-2 coaches, and they have KPIs they have to hit. And so, what you get is you get a one-on-one coach for 16 weeks. We have two options. We have a 4-month package and a 6-month package, and we prefer the 6 month because we find the longer someone will stay with us, the better results they get. But with 4 and
Yeah.
6 months, if you don't want that much commitment, and then we have a year-long program once you get up to 5-10K a month called Accelerator, which is more of our mastermind, and it's all one-on-one throughout all those programs. So you're meeting week by week, some more often, some multiple times a week if you need it, and it's really kind of like a business in a box, like a low-cost alternative to a franchise.
Dude, I love it. How does somebody find you? We'll put a link in the description down below to get a hold of you. But how does somebody find you?
Yeah, you can join our free school group at Remote Cleaning Secrets. You can get me on Twitter, or X now, it's called, at Squeegee God. You can find us all over Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Johnny and Sergio. We have the best boring business content on YouTube. Check that out. And then Johnny Robinson on LinkedIn.
Johnny, thank you. I've seen your YouTube videos. They're not boring. You don't get that many views by having boring videos. You guys do great content.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, appreciate we got some more cool stuff coming.
So for all of the W-2s and 1099s listening to this, if you're nervous about how to get started or want to get started, check out the links below, and we'll make sure that you guys get connected. Johnny, thank you so much for being here, bro.
Yep, no problem. Thanks for having me.